So we'll see the next example. So far we saw the concepts related to of, and here we'll see the questions related to the concepts more or less. So Mr. Giridhar spends 50% of his monthly income on household items, and out of the remaining he spent 50% on transport, 25% on entertainment, 10% on sports, and remaining amount rupees 900 is saved. So what is Mr. Giridhar's monthly income? So this question was taken from United Bank of India PO exam 2009. So here in his salary he spends 50%. So what will remain? So when he spends 50%, the remaining 50% will be there. So in the remaining 50%, he spends 50% on transport, 25% on entertainment, 10% on sports. So in the remaining 50%, he spent 50, 25 and 10. So added it is 85%. And what remains? Rupees 900 remains. That is, he saves 900. So in the remaining 50%, after subtracting 85, 15% is saved. So in the remaining 50%, 15% is 900. So in the 50%, if it is 15%, so in the total 100, what will be the value? It will be 15 by 2. So in total 100%, 15 by 2 or 7.5% is 900. So we are asked to find the total 100% of his monthly income. So we can, instead of working out just by drawing a simple diagram, so we can find the answer. So here the answer is so we'll think that this is Giridhar's whole income, and in this he spends 50% on household items. So in the remaining he spends 50%. So in the remaining what will be 50%? It will be 1/4 of the circle. So he spends on transport. And in the remaining 25% he spends on entertainment. So 10% he spends on sports. So in the remaining 50, 25, 10 added it is 85. So what will remain? 15%. So in the remaining it is 15%. On the whole, what will be the value? Percentage will be half of this. So in the remaining 50 it is 15%. So on the whole it is 15 by 2. So this is the amount which he saves, and the value is given as 900. So 15 by 2% is 900. So what will be 100%? So 100% will be 900. So divide by 15 by 2. So 2 goes to the numerator into 100. So what is 900 by 15? It is 6 times or 60. So multiplying. So we get. So 12,000 is his salary. So he spends 50%, and in the remaining he spends 50 plus 25 plus 10. That is, in the remaining he spends 85%, and in the remaining he saves 15%. On the whole it is half of that, 7.5% or 15 by 2%. So when 15 by 2% is 900, what will be 100%? So multiplying and dividing we get 12,000 as his monthly income. So answer is option B, 12,000. So we'll see the next example. So the next example is, so this is also the question based on more or less concept. Suresh took rupees 4,200 to buy a given book for his shop. As the price of the book was reduced by 25%, he was able to buy 35 more books. So find the reduced price of the book. So we'll see the working. So before working out this question, so we'll understand the question first. Say for example, so a person is taking 600 rupees to buy 6 books. Cost per book is 100. So at the rate of 100 per book, he needs 6 books. So he takes 600 rupees to buy 6 books. Suppose if price is reduced by 25%. So in 100, so price is reduced by 25%. So for 100, 25% is 25 and price of the book becomes 75. So one book cost is 75. Now how much he will save? He will save 25 rupees. And another book 75. How much he will save? 25% of the other book. 25. So likewise, for each book he will save 25. So that is, for 6 books he will save 25 rupees. He will save 150 rupees. So with this 150, how many more books he can buy? So he decides to buy 6 books, but as the price has reduced, he saves 150 rupees, and as the cost is 75 rupees, he can buy 2 more books. So in this question, so this cost is given and price reduction is given and excess books is also given. So we are asked to find the reduced price. So for one book, if price is reduced by 25%, for one book he will save 25% of the cost, so 25. So when he saves 25 for each, he will save 150. So instead of working out all, so whatever the cost he takes, you find 25% of that. So what is 25% of 600? 1/4 of 600, it is 150. So instead of working out all this, so for 600, when price reduces by 25%, you see what is the amount he saves. For each book, if he saves 25%, overall he will save 25%. So what is 25% of 600? 150. So that is what we have got here after doing all the working. So for this type of question, whenever the reduced percentage price is given, you check what is the corresponding percentage for the total cost. So for 600, 25% is 150. So for this he buys 2 more additional books. Not total 2, additional books, excess books 2. So what will be the reduced cost? 75. So following the same pattern, we will work out our question, so which is given. So just find the percentage for the given amount and that will be the saved money. With this, divide by the excess articles, you get the reduced price. So in this question, what is the amount Suresh takes? It is rupees 4,200. So what is the reduction in price per book? 25%. So we will check what is the amount he saves. That is, what is 25% of 4,200 or 1/4 of 4,200. So 1/4 will be 1050. So this is the amount which he saves. So with this, how many more books he buys? 35 more books. So divide the amount saved by 35. So we will get the reduced price. So 1050, 1050 by 35, it is 30. So reduced price is 30. So just find the corresponding percentage to the given amount. So with that, divide by the excess articles, you get the reduced price. So answer is option A, rupees 30. So we'll see the next example. So the question is, numerator of a fraction is increased by 200% and the denominator is increased by 120%. So if the increased fraction is 9 by 11, find the original fraction. So here, numerator is increased by 200% and the denominator is also increased by 120%. So increased fraction is given as 9 by 11. So we are asked to find the original fraction. So first we will see how to work out using the short method and then we will see elaborately how to arrive at the shortcut. So we will see the working. So what is the increased fraction given? It is 9 by 11. So what is the numerator change? It is increased by 200%. So say for example, if a value is increased by 20%, so when it is off, we will just write into 20. So when it is increased by 20%, I have told you add it with 100. Now the numerator is increased by what percent? It is increased by 200%. So add 200 with 100. So numerator change equal to 300. And what will be the denominator change? The denominator is also increased by 120%. So adding 120 with 100, the denominator changes to 20. So with the increased fraction, whatever the numerator change is given, you multiply with the denominator, and whatever the denominator change is there, multiply with the numerator. Simplifying, we get the original fraction. So here the original fraction is 3 by 5 is the original fraction. So this type of questions are asked. So to get the answer, to get the original fraction, whatever the increased fraction, the change fraction is given, so with the denominator multiply the numerator change, with the numerator you multiply the denominator change, and the original fraction is got. And this working is done because, so I will give you the elaborate method how to arrive at this working. So let the original fraction be x by y. So x by y is the original fraction. And by what percent is the numerator increased? It is increased by 200%. So whenever increase is given, add it with 100 by 100. The numerator is multiplied with 100 plus 200 by 100, and denominator is increased by 120. It is 100 plus 120 by 100. So this is equal to the increased fraction 9 by 11. And here, as you have the common factors cancel out, so it is 300x by 220y equal to 9 by 11. So to get the fraction x by y, sending this 300 to the denominator and this 220 to the numerator and simplifying, the original fraction x by y is got. So the original fraction x by y equal to 9 by 11. So this 300 is sent to the denominator, 220 to the numerator. So now when the original fraction is asked, so instead of doing all this, whatever the numerator change is there, multiply in the denominator, and the denominator change multiply with the numerator. Simplifying, you get the answer. So 250. So 3 by 5 is the original fraction. So we'll see the next concept.